Season 2. I'm your co-host, Daniel Perez.
And I'm Messi Morales, and you're Unqualified Heroes.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to switch things up and say things in the beginning instead of the end, just in case you don't get to the end. But you better get to the end, because we're cool, even though we're unqualified. So you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, that we barely use, but it's fine. And comment, subscribe, smash the subscribe button. And if you comment, we'll shout you out and we'll reply back. So you can feel loved, because that's why we have social media, to comment and talk to each other so we can have some sort of satisfaction. All right, Messi, what are we talking about today?
All right. So there's obviously some news, but the major point we're talking about is Season 2, Episode 2 of Loki. It was an awesome episode. But Danny, I gotta ask you, initial thoughts, without getting any spoilers or anything crazy, what do you think about the Episode 2?
All right, Episode 2, it's pretty good. It wasn't bad. It's Loki. I don't think it really has ever had a bad episode. But as I go back to Season 1 and Episode 1 of Season 1 being like the best thing ever in the world, and then Season 2 or Episode 2 and 3 were kind of like, they were good, but they weren't the best. I think they follow the same formula with Season 2. That Episode 1, they fired on all cylinders. I was like, oh my gosh, it's back. We're getting Loki again. Bah, bah. It was the best. And then Season 2, I keep saying season. Episode 2 of Season 2, it was pretty good, but it didn't fire the way Episode 1 did.
Okay, and I agree. I agree on some parts with that, and on that part, which specifically what you said that didn't fire the same way that Episode 1 did. I feel like this one's obviously is an Episode 2 of, so it felt continuous, like the wave continued into this second episode, because we didn't skip a beat. It was right to it, and it was good. Obviously, the first one was better, and this one was interesting. We got to see a little bit more about other characters, of what the heck is going on. I was very confused in the beginning because I forgot this new character X5 they introduced in last episode. But I should have watched Episode 1 again, so I can. It's like, okay, this guy is this guy. I was so confused.
I should have. Honestly, I was like, was he from Season 1?
Yeah, I looked him up. I was like, X5. Where is he from? Like they're so familiar with this character. Like, am I on second episode? I thought it was like the 6th episode already. It's like, are we supposed to be familiar with this character at this point? I don't know if they're confused on the very moment. It was a good episode.
Yeah, my wife literally turned to me. She was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's probably from Season 1." I had no clue. It's only been a week.
I think it's what he was wearing throws us off, because he was wearing a suit, looking all movie star and all that crap. But before we do continue more into Loki Episode 2, there's some news, heartbreaking news, but there's news, because I don't know why shit happens, but it happens. Danny, before we started the call, you were trying to find another thing that's super similar to what's going on right now with the new news. Explain to me, why do you find that conclusion of that?
All right. So a long time ago, it wasn't really a long time ago, but a while back, probably sometime this summer, we talked about Blade. They fired the director. Like, Kevin Feige basically sat down, watched the movie, or whatever was filmed in the movie so far, and he's like, this is ass. And he turned to the director and he's like, you're gone. You're fired. So yeah, he's gone, and basically they're redoing the movie. They have a new I believe they got a new director already, but they're completely redoing the movie from the bottom up. Same actors, but it's 100% a different script. So who knows? But now we got major news that Daredevil, the beloved character, took that one step further. They didn't just fire the director, they fired the whole creative team. They said writers, gone, producers, gone, director, gone, everybody, gone. It was like a
And you're fired. And you're fired. And
yeah,
you're
instead of
fired.
you get a thing, you get a this,
Yeah.
it's you don't have a job, you don't have a job. So that's basically what they did with Daredevil, which is, I mean, if you're one of those people, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're us, it's, it's probably good news.
Yeah, because it's like when we heard the news about Blade. Yeah, it sucks because you're literally telling a person your jobs your whole job or whatever you did sucks. That's really that's a horrible thing to hear. It's like your job sucks. You're bad at your job. But it's good for us because we're not getting bad content. We're actually getting good content that makes sense and that is actually worth paying 20, $30 to go to a theater and see it. So for Born Again, yeah, it sucks. It show's gonna get delayed again. But what hasn't been delayed? What else hasn't, like, we're kinda used to this delay crap since COVID happened. So you tell me something's delayed, it's like tell me something new. Like at this point,
Yep.
if I get
COVID.
something
You got
good, yeah.
the strikes. I mean, it's just delay after delay. So now, like,
Yeah.
all right,
As long as I get something good and it's worth my while to watch it, take all the time you need. I am in no rush to see this because I know it's gonna come eventually, and I know for a fact that without something they cannot continue moving forward. So I know for sure I'm not gonna fall behind on any other stuff because if it doesn't come out, the next thing can't come out either. So I'm chilling.
yeah. So there's not a whole lot as to what went wrong with the original show that they were on track to put out, but there was some that came out basically saying that uh, the people that were directing the show, that the way there was a lot of like legal stuff that were through the show, and it didn't resemble the Netflix version of Daredevil that we love.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a ton of action and violence. They said that Charlie Cox didn't even put on the costume until the fourth episode, which I don't know how. I think it's actually getting like 18 episodes or something like
So
that.
yeah, this is the
Um,
longest show,
this
but
one's pretty long, but yeah, he didn't have a costume to the fourth episode, so they were just saying like, look, we know everyone's gonna be looking towards Daredevil to have some sort of resemblance to Netflix. If not, people are gonna be picketing outside of Marvel headquarters. So they
again,
saw this, they saw it's trash, and they're like, all right, we gotta do something different.
I saw, I don't know if it's true, but there is a synopsis of the show out, and one of the things that they kind of pick, and it makes sense a little bit of why he wasn't wearing the suit for 4 episodes, but I think that's too long, depending on how long the episode really is. The one of the things was just like he quit being Daredevil for a whole year after he couldn't
Mm.
save his friends. I forgot I forgot their names. The his
Foggy and
Foggy
Karen.
and Karen, yeah. After he fell saving them from Kingpin, he took a year off, and I'm guessing this is probably why there's 4 episodes without him wearing a suit. But I think that's too long. Like, what are you struggling that much? I mean, obviously you took a year long. We don't need to see that whole year. You took a year off. Deal
Yeah,
with it. But we want to see a little bit of struggle. Yes, episode 1 or 2 maybe. Episode 3, like, and episode 2 with him opening the case, and the episode 3 with the suit. That's perfect. But like 4 episodes, come on, that's too long.
yeah. 4 episodes is a very long time for this action packed. I remember episode one of Daredevil season one, and I mean, you had Granted, this wasn't with Daredevil's suit, but you had Kingpin like slamming the door on this guy's head, and blood was coming out. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh! I remember
good.
when I first texted him because I didn't see this. I didn't see this show till maybe a couple years ago. So for my first time, which I loved, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I feel for the people that got fired, but also, hey, you didn't do a good job. You don't do a good job. You don't do a good job. Like it's just the world that we live in. So we're gonna get good stuff, but at least hopefully they don't fire someone again. But I think the reason why we're gonna get this is the end is because there's even more major news. Daredevil was like it was like frosting on the cake, but if you dig deeper, you get down to the layers, you get down to the real stuff, and it is the Marvel is completely overhauling the way they do TV now.
Hmm.
So, if you don't know, it's most shows, just about every show, has a showrunner,
Yeah.
and it's more delegated. They have more creative freedom. It's more streamlined train of thought
Mm-hmm.
rather than you have a director for every single episode and everyone has their own creative vision and then they're going to do something else and everything's all out of funk. Now, they're like, we haven't been doing this. We've been telling people who've been working on Marvel movies, hey, you worked on a Marvel movie. At the same time that you're working on that Marvel movie, can you also work on this show, even though you've never worked on a show your entire life? That's okay, right? Yeah, no, it's not. And then they're basically having people do more things than they're capable of or have never done before at the same time, and it's not delegating.
No.
It's not like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do that. It's, hey, can you do actually three other people's jobs at the same time? And it's just bad, which is why a lot of the Marvel shows that we've gotten trash. But now they're like, we're gonna have showrunners. They're gonna be over that specific show. We're gonna look over every single episode. I saw this thing on the Hollywood Reporter where they, I guess, were talking to people who head up in Marvel, basically saying that instead of filming the entire show and then they kind of like, all right, maybe we could fix this. They're
Yeah.
gonna go through each individual episode now. So they're gonna watch. They're gonna film an episode. They're like, all right, what needs to be done here? Then they film the next episode. Okay, is this in cohesion with the first episode? Does it still is this still good? Instead of like you have this final product and then you're like, actually, this didn't make sense with what we did in the beginning. So it's like basically all in short, they're streamlining their TV process to make it more delegated and more creative thought towards a specific person doing a specific project rather than everybody doing something.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense. Not everybody can be that. Oh, I don't want to say talented because they're very talented at their job, but they're not everybody can be as talented as other people who can direct movies and also direct shows because it's two different universes. Yeah, it's TV production, and a lot of stuff is the same things, but not everything adds up the same way. So I for a
I
perfect
think a
is
lot of it actually led to overworking too.
exactly.
I mean, if you're like told, "Hey, do this, do this, do this," that's probably why some of the people were overworked.
Yeah, so that's why there's directors who can do both. Like James Gunn is a perfect example of doing both. He did Peacemaker, awesome show. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, a trilogy, awesome trilogy. So that's a good example of a person who can do both. But there's directors right now probably don't have the same experience as James Gunn or other directors who has done the same thing. Despite why we're not getting the same quality of other shows. Um, but I don't know. Maybe they can do the same thing as do with Star Wars because they're rocking it with Star Wars. They have like 5 directors for one show. Like they have other people working on there as well. So maybe
But they still have a showrunner, so they still have
exactly.
like those directors still have to like go up to that one person that's
Yeah.
saying, "Hey." like this is my vision, but you know, you could do your own thing. The way they were doing it was like just do your own thing, have your own vision type of thing.
I mean, as it was good for I guess for them because they have the creative freedom and there's no one like micromanaging. But for this, you kind of need some micromanaging if you don't have like that Steven Spielberg or Mark Scorsese type of level of directing, because we need the quality. And if we want to pay, if they want us to pay to go see their stuff, guess what? Micromanage their workers. It
Yeah.
sucks, but it's
So
true.
you've so now they're having just people just specific for TV. And I did see something when I was reading up on this that Secret Invasion actually as throughout their making of the show had most of their creative team replaced throughout like at some point throughout the show because of people having other commitments, they were doing other things. So basically, they didn't have time. They didn't have time because they were asked to do multiple things. And so in Secret Invasion, a lot of people got not necessarily fired. It was more so they quit and they had to get other people, which is crazy to think. In one show of just 6 episodes, halfway through the show, presumably, you have a completely different people working on it.
I mean, I kind of make sense of why the show sucks after the halfway point because I thought the first three episodes were solid for me personally. But and now it went through and then it sucked. So
Yep.
that it makes sense of why the second half of the
It
show
does make
sucks.
sense because we did talk about how like the first couple episodes they were actually pretty good, and then it dropped fast, and maybe that's a lie because people were like, "Hey, so first 3 episodes are already made, but can you like try and do something kind of like that?" It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You're not the same. We all think differently. You can't make the same product you've been making when you're a completely different person. So hey, it's good news. We got this is good news, but it's took too long. I mean, Marvel started with shows in 2020. It's been 3 years,
Yeah,
3.5 years, almost 4 years. Like this is how I don't know. To me, it's like you've taken quite a long. There's been a lot of shows out of Marvel. Oh, the other thing that I completely forgot to say was they're not focusing on limited series anymore. They're basically done with the limited series. Saying limited series, we might do one or two here and there, but we want multi-season stuff like Loki, multi-season stuff. So I think that's also pretty interesting because maybe that'll have more less of a rush. You know, when you have a limited series, you're like, okay, this character is only going to be here for 6 episodes, and then next time you see them is going to be in a movie in a couple years from now, or something like that.
yeah.
And so you got to rush this whole plot line. But now, if you have multi-season stuff, you can build off what you did the previous season, aka Loki. You had the whole Kang stuff. What they do in season 2, they're building off season 1. So I actually think this is a really good thing that it will stop from all this rush finale, rush storyline issues that we've had.
I feel with if that actually happens, and I'm pretty sure it will happen eventually. It maybe it, for me, I kind of like that everything is not connected as of right now. I know eventually everything will lead up to the whole thing, but I kind of like where how Moon Knight is. Moon Knight is I know it's still connected, but it doesn't really feel that's connected. It was his own thing. It's just by alone. It have nothing to do with the Avengers or with New York because everything happens in New York. Um, it was his own thing by itself, and nothing MCU related stuff happened on the show. So if that happens, I hope it's like that. Like it's just by his own thing. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
multiple seasons of the same character. It's like Daredevil on Netflix. First whole 3 seasons was about him doing stuff about Daredevil stuff. So if they do that, hopefully they do the following the same thing. I know with Loki, yes, it's great, but Loki's also setting up for movies that is coming up
It
eventually.
is, but it hasn't really tied into back into 616 just yet.
Yes, yeah,
We're still in like this TVA world, Kang world ish.
eventually. But according to the actress Kamala Khan, forgot her name in real life,
Iman.
something like that, yeah. And also Sony with Spider Man 2099. We are in the Earth 199999999. So are we at 616 or 199999999? So I don't know. So that's another debate for another day. Um, but yeah, so hopefully if they do that, keep them a little separate, give them their own thing, and then if you want to bring them on, then make it make sense a little bit by later on the show. But don't make it all about how one division, for example, it was a one-time season for a setup for the Multiverse of Madness movie. I don't want that again. I don't want more setup shows.
A hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take. Whenever Kevin Feige is on his deathbed and somehow, no, he's not going to be on his deathbed, but whenever he retires and somehow they're still making Marvel, Iman Vellani is taking over Kevin Feige's spot as the producer, the executive head of Marvel, because she knows just as much as Marvel as he does.
You think she'll step up and take the producer, the CEO of Marvel?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she wouldn't do a bad job. She seems to know a hell of a lot about Marvel,
Yeah.
but she knows more. She knows more about Marvel than us, and probably the majority of people. So, yeah, that's basically the news. Now back to Loki. Loki. Season 2. Um, we didn't have much, but we did see timeline still going
Control.
all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this last episode, but in the first episode, basically not the first episode, but with this whole timeline, multiple timelines going into one thing that
Yeah.
weaves together for a sacred timeline,
Mm-hmm.
rather than there just being a sacred timeline and I don't know things branching out. Basically, a different way than how we thought originally. It essentially fixes certain issues that happen throughout the MCU and the Infinity Saga, such as Steve Rogers going back to Peggy's time. And we're like, oh, the timeline. Did the TVA get him? Something. Well, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal because it's still just weaved together into the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't have a trillion, zillion different branches, it's not going to overload and mess up the sacred timeline, which was interesting. But now, towards the end of this episode, they got bombed.
It did. So I was actually gonna ask a question. 'Cause I was thinking while I was watching it, and I don't know. Maybe you do have an answer. Maybe you just didn't think about it. On No Way Home, and I'm bringing No Way Home because that's the only movie that made it possible to connect other timelines into one with bringing all the other people in. All those timelines that we see on Loki, do you think each timeline is its own thing, but do you think each one is like X-Men, Spider-Man Toby, Spider-Man Andrew, Fantastic Four, like all those things, all those timelines and all those things, do you think you just got a race right now? Just like poof. Or is it that not that deep? Because I was thinking, it's like, okay, so if they're closing on these gaps, I'm pretty sure they didn't get all the timelines because Sylvie got back to hers, and then
Yeah,
so. But what if they close one? Because one of the theories apparently that Toby is gonna be on Secret Wars because something happened to his timeline that is not there no more. So what if he escaped before that happens? I don't know, some way, shape, or form. But my question is to you: do you think those timelines that got sometimes that got erased was one of the times that we've seen in other movies?
I don't think all of them, but I would say it's a good bet to think that one of the major characters that we're getting in Secret Wars or in their own movies, such as Fantastic Four, Deadpool, etc., their timeline got erased. I think someone did. I don't think most of them did, but at least one. I think it would make for a good beginning storyline. Maybe X Men, because we are getting X Men,
Mm-hmm.
at least the animated ones. I guess we're getting them live action too, but that's like really
Eventually,
far.
we're gonna be
But at
old.
least animated ones were already old. I don't know. Maybe Deadpool. Maybe this affects Deadpool.
I don't
I
know.
mean, he does go through different things, different multiverse. It's a multiverse movie, so he's gonna be going to different timelines. I wonder if this somehow affects Deadpool in his movie.
Do you think there'll be a cameo of Deadpool or something? I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a cameo on this or something or someone that we
I
is
think it'll
not
be the other
MCU.
way around. I think Loki
Oh yeah,
or more Mobius will be in Deadpool.
oh yeah. I think that's a theory that's mostly confirmed already. So I'm already expecting some TVA person to show up on that movie, but I'm asking for the Loki show, someone that's not MCU at all. So like Fox universe or
Yeah,
I don't think Sony universe. So mostly Fox universe is gonna show up on this show. I don't think it will.
I don't
It's
know.
too
I don't
high,
think. I
but
think Loki's still been in this like outside MCU world so far. Maybe the next couple episodes will make me think differently. But with Loki one, it was still like outside and outside of MCU, and season two so far is like still in this TVA world. They are in the sacred timeline sometimes, but this is like the 70s, the 80s. So I I, I don't think so.
Logan was old. I mean, well, Logan was already born at that time. So
I think we'll see another Loki.
no, Logan.
Oh, do you think we're gonna see another Loki?
Another Loki? Probably.
Yeah.
I think that hopefully they do show more of like last season. They show all those Lokis.
I was gonna say, what if they showed some of the other Lokis, but they got stuck in that place? They were in that place
What if they somehow they bring him back?
when they killed Kang.
Hey, give me a second. My camera fell, guys. Let's just zoom
Honestly, I
in.
thought you did that on purpose. I thought you did that on purpose.
No, I did
See, this is
not
why
do
you
that.
need to watch on YouTube. You need to watch on YouTube for this very reason. For these dumb. Bro, I said, when they killed Kang, and you went, I'm sorry. It was perfect timing. I wish it was. I had said something even funnier, but that was still pretty funny.
I'm
Go on
turning.
YouTube
I'm turning off my
and watch
camera.
that.
This is technical difficulties, guys. Technical
Oh yeah, we're
difficulties.
already having technical difficulties because I'm not using my mic. So
It's
this
okay.
is why I tried to win the Powerball, the $1.73 billion. I bought a $3 ticket. I lost.
I,
Some fool in California got all $1.73 billion. So they can suck my nut, or they can sponsor our show. If you're watching, you cannot suck my nut, and you're the best person ever. Sponsor our show. I'll just keep going since Messi's having technical difficulties, and I don't know. he's having issues. Is the interrogation scene. That was my favorite part, even though it was like most of the episode. It was my favorite part of the episode because I just like the back and forth banter. First off, when Brad was talking to Loki, he was talking smack about Loki. He's like, "You're nothing. You're basically destined to fail. You're a loser. You're evil. You're not a good guy." I was ready for Loki to do something crazy, but he didn't. He held it together, and maybe that's character development that he holds things together now. And then he was talking to Mobius, and Mobius was like, "Bah!" He did that Will Smith slap, bah! Right to his face, and yeah. So it was a pretty cool interrogation scene. I liked it, and then Loki came back to trick him with this thing that was about to turn him into freaking, I don't know, crush his spine. And it was still pretty cool because you know what was really cool? I'm
What?
jumping all over the place, but you know what was really cool? When Loki put him against the wall and you saw like Loki's shadows that were holding him against the wall.
Yeah, that was a pretty
That
cool
was cool.
shot. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh my god, we just got Loki with the horns for the first time in like ever. So that was a cool callback to to it. So I was surprised with that scene. I mean the whole
I
time
I'm
with this
glad they're
dude.
showing more powers of Loki
Yeah.
because Loki has a lot of powers. I mean, he's the god of mischief. He can do a lot of cool things, but it's up to Marvel to showcase it.
Yeah. So there was a part on the whenever they meet Brad or X5 for the first time on I'm back. It's lower. My thing is run out of battery. It's fine. Whenever they saw him at the movie theater on his movie premiere, all that stuff, whatever. Um, they started racing. I mean, chasing him. He running, and then Loki. I was like, okay. I don't know if they know, but Loki's kind of a god, and he's fast, and he's OP. He's almost as strong as Thor. Almost as strong as Thor. And he is not running as fast as this dude. Because you know Thor can run for days. Thor is like whew, fast. Loki was a ran by a regular human, but and then he goes, you know you cannot run me. So okay, I mean it'll make sense. But I thought they were gonna get to a fight, like a fist fight. And I was like I say, if Loki gets beat up by a regular human, I'm done. They cannot nerf this dude that bad. But
Yeah,
later on, they show a little more powers, and they made him look cool again. That was before he actually started using magic. Um, so I was kind of worried. I was like, come on, don't do that. That was where I was confused. Like, who the hell is this X5 guy? Like, I have no idea who this guy is. I had to like literally Google
yeah. I
him.
was still thinking he was in season one at that time.
Yeah, I had to literally Google him like X5 Loki season 2. And I was like, X5 season 1. It's like, why is this guy? I don't know what. But it's the outfit. It's the outfit.
Yeah, I mean, it was look. Like I said, there wasn't a lot in this show, but I think we still got a lot of really cool visuals with Loki. Even the interrogation scene. I mean, them eating the pie. That pie looked good as heck. It was so green. I, the way that they're doing the visual, like, look, we slander Marvel all the time. I don't know if we slandered Loki season one for the visuals, but I don't think we did. But man, the visuals are still kicking in this season. And one question I got for you is maybe it's something really small and I just didn't notice. But what was Sylvie holding at the end when she was on the top of the truck? Was it a
I think it was
I don't
like
even know.
her
Was it the
thing.
time pad?
I think it was a time pad. Just probably hold it to the time pad. I mean, for a quick minute, she thought her timeline just got erased again. A place that she calls home because she called it home before she went over there. It's like okay, I gotta go home now. If it's still there, like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she's like a little more calmer. She's still holding the time pad. I think that's what it is. I think she's holding a tight patch. I'm safe home for now.
Hmm. My thing was, say it was blown up. Like, when you go through the orange doors, is everything like ash, or are you just gonna? Is there even an Earth?
Good question.
Like, would she just fall into space because Earth just combusted? I don't know, but
I don't know. I'm very good
honestly, I was
question.
expecting her. I was expecting her timeline not to be there because I felt like it would have given her a reason to come back. Because she was looking at the screen when they were all looking at the screen, like, man, they just killed all those people.
Yeah.
And she was looking at the screen and she's like, I'm gonna go back to my timeline. So I figured if her timeline was bombed, then she'd feel like more mad to do something.
Yeah.
You think they're going to the? I think they're gonna go to the past.
I mean, they've been
I
going.
think they're gonna.
How past
I
you
think,
think?
but I think they're to fix to stop them from bombing the other timelines.
Do you okay? So you think okay? Okay, that could happen. That could happen. I think whenever remember that whole scene between Loki and Sylvie or the elevator part, that still hasn't happened yet. So that could be that whole thing. It could be it because if you really think about it, by killing all this time, extra
You're right,
times,
because that is technically the past.
exactly. No, that was the future.
Oh, you're right. That is.
The future, yeah, that was the future. But remember, on this episode, we destroy all those things, all the timelines. So that will quote unquote fix the problem. So now it should be one straight line going through there.
But they didn't. They didn't fix all the timelines.
That should
They didn't bomb all of them.
point, yeah, but it should at least ease in a little bit easier for
Yeah,
instead of like overloading all the tube. I
yeah.
don't.
Because Ob was like, we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
Well, I think that might still happen, right?
probably
Maybe
eventually
not.
because not like you said earlier, or like the show said, the all not all the bombs were, I mean not the bombs, all the timelines were gone.
Yeah.
So it's gonna eventually happen again. So hopefully they do like you said, they go back in time and fix it, not fix it, restore all those times and actually fix it to make sure that all those timelines are kept safe and still going and no need to destroy them. But if they do that, guess what? Kang is gonna come back. Because remember, when Kang
Mm.
was in the main seat, there's only one timeline and nobody else can come through and anything like that. But because all this stuff is going on, Kang is possibly to go and do all the stuff that he wants to do eventually. But without them, he can't. So it's like a
Well, I don't know. I think there's still gonna be like, let's save the billions of people that got wiped out. So I do think they go to. I mean, look, they can
it's a
easily go to
sacrifice.
the best. We just you gotta pick and choose. They were like, hey, I'd rather fight King than have all these people blown up. But
But what if
also,
Kang wins? What if Kang wins? So it's a dilemma that you don't know. Obviously, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win
but also,
because
Loki was still for the TVA, right? He
yeah,
technically didn't want those timelines in there in the first place because he didn't want to kill Kang. Had he not killed Kang, those timelines would have been there. Well, most of them.
well, it's true. He didn't want to kill Kang because he knew what's gonna happen afterwards. But he
Yeah.
knew who's gonna come. He knew that. That's why he didn't want to do it. But because it happened, he has to deal with it. There's no going back at this point. So he has to either save all these people or eventually face King. So at this point, I think he's just going with it like that. I don't think there's a side that's going on. But there's a thing that I really noticed that's like kind of messed up is the TVA now with all the group that they have is the good TVA. What TVA is actually supposed to do is make sure all the timelines are good and stuff like that. And Sylvie didn't see that because there is a rogue lady, the annoying old lady with a real relationship with X5, because that's who X5 was is the guy with a real relationship. That's I remember that. Um,
Oh.
yeah, that's him. Yeah, real relationship guy with the old lady. Um, she's a rogue person, and then she's the person who did all this stuff. So that's what Sylvie is so the hatred of it. So I feel messed up that she's not seeing that this group that feels sad and is like about to kill each other because they just failed to save all these timelines.
But I don't think she would care anyways, because what she wanted was
Because
free will. Even the good TVA is still technically against free will.
I mean, not really. Because let me tell you why. Because all who he remain is basically God. God, God knows past, future, present. He's everywhere, every time, at all time. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's God. Don't.
He was
But
God in Marvel.
he is.
In Marvel world.
Exactly. So whether Sylvie likes her or not, it's like us. I know we both are Christians, and we God give us free will to do what we want, but He knows what we're gonna do,
Hmm.
even whether we like it or not. He already knows how every step. Even though we think, oh, let me not do this because of that, and then God knew that we're gonna do that dilemma. So like she keeps saying, "Oh, free will bullcrap." Your path is written, and Clang knows it.
Yeah. But now that she killed him, her path is not written.
That you know of, because whenever
That she knows of.
remember because earlier she goes when Loki confronted her and said, "Oh, I saw you in the future. I don't know why this is happening." She goes, "You cannot see me in the future because my future is not written." Then
Hmm.
she said that.
But he still saw her.
So exactly. So that's my point. That like she keeps saying like this hippie bullshit. Oh, free will this, free will that.
Ah,
But
you're
it's
right.
gonna
I didn't think
happen.
about that. He still saw her.
Exactly.
She says that, but he saw her.
So even whether she
So,
likes it, the TVA or not, the TVA right now were the group that they have because they don't have I forgot her weird name. She's a weird name. The
Renslayer.
Renslayer and Miss Minute and this old lady with the weird feelings with the younger guy are not there no
But
more.
Miss Minutes has to come back
Miss Minute's
because of
coming back.
everything that's going on.
Miss Minute knows something that we don't know, and she's pissing me off. Like why she's not there. I want to know what the hell Miss Minute is doing. I want to know.
She's rogue.
She's
She doesn't
rogue.
want to help the TVA.
She probably knows everything that's going on because she can. She's a system. She can go through
Yeah.
everything. She knows everything. But they also mentioned they picked up a signal for Renslayer. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder where she at because we haven't seen her either in the episode, the show yet.
The last time we saw her, she was in her timeline, right? She saw her as a teacher.
Renslayer?
Yeah. She went back and saw herself as a teacher or something like that.
I honestly don't remember. I gotta watch season one.
I don't know.
Honestly,
We gotta watch season 1 again. Last question is I forgot to ask you this. We were talking about that scene about who pruned Loki,
Uh-huh.
but what about who was calling the telephone? Because why is someone calling the phone while everyone's trying to evacuate? So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it was designed to get Loki to be there. Maybe Loki would not have stopped there had the phone not been ringing. He probably wouldn't have stopped there. Why would you stop? He stopped because the phone was ringing. He looked at it. He was like,
I don't know. It could be Morbius. Mobius.
"It's Morbid time."
Okay, so let's think about all the characters that have been in the show so far. Obi, cool character.
Yeah.
Could be him because I think out of everybody, he's the more knowledgeable on time stuff, and obviously he wrote the
Yeah, he
TV.
wrote the book.
Yeah, he wrote the book and everything. So I think he could be more knowledgeable on it. Could be Mobius. X5. I don't really think he's really that important going forward after this episode. He was kind of a kind of female dog on this show on this episode. Um, I don't think it's Loki because Loki proved himself. I think I'm still on that. I think Loki was the one who proved himself.
What if he pruned himself? No, never mind. I was gonna
I
say, but
call
still called
I
the
call
phone.
hey. No, I don't think that was it. I don't think that was the case. But
Renslayer, Kang. I mean, they made a big deal about the phone. Like they zoomed into
yeah,
that phone.
there's someone important on the phone. What if it's a Kang?
Ooh, what if it was Kang?
What if it's Kang?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, because we still
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
him. We still haven't seen Jonathan Majors.
Drop in the
yet.
comments who do you think was on the phone? Because
Someone important.
we sure as hell don't know.
Yeah.
So you can tell us who you think it is.
Yeah, I wonder when they're gonna show the scene of Kang. What movie was it that was a post credit scene of? Was it Ant-Man? Yeah,
Loki.
Ant-Man. No.
It was Ant-Man.
Ant-Man's post credit scene was Ant-Man. I mean, not Ant-Man. It was
Yeah,
Loki,
with
Mobius.
Victor Timely.
I wonder when that's gonna happen. He goes, "Oh my God, that's him. That's a bad guy."
Well, they were wearing suits, right?
It was a really old time, so I think they were fitting the era.
It looked like it was around the time that X5 was in.
No, I think it's older than that. It looks more back in the day.
Let me see.
I think it was way more back.
You think so? Well, I guess right. Wasn't he making a light bulb?
Yeah,
So I guess it had to be really
something,
pretty old.
some new invention that we haven't gotten yet. At that,
Yeah, you're right. This is way older.
yeah.
Hmm.
Who was the name that they mentioned? Time something? What was it?
So his name was Victor Timely.
Look him up, Victor Timely. I don't know. Maybe it's a real person in real life. You know what we haven't done in a good minute?
This says 1901.
That's pretty far. That's pretty far.
Yeah.
Because we didn't go that far. We went to the 1980s, 1880s, and then
the 80s and the 70s.
in the 70s. Yes.
This is the 01.
Yeah.
The 01s.
This is the beginning of the 1900s.
Yeah, this is real old. You're right. This is old. So, I guess we'll see what happens. Anyways, what were you gonna say?
That we haven't done those games that we used to do in the very beginning of the when we started doing podcasts. And I guess
Trivias.
the trivia stuff, yeah. But we stopped doing it because we cheat. Well, I cheated all the time.
No, you cheated a little bit. I'll give you a quick trivia.
All right.
Here's
Let's
a
see.
quick one.
Look at. I'm gonna show my hands here so you don't see that I'm typing secretly in the back.
You're right. Let me.
I still remember the Johnny Storm question. He goes, "Oh, what was your first character or some crap?" It was Johnny Storm, and I click, typing to look up the answer. Oh my God, the good old days were soon. All right, come on. What's your trivia?
All right. Hold up.
Okay, while you do looking for trivia question, I got some reminders. Guess what? Next week is October 20. So we got 1 week before Spider-Man 2 hits PlayStation. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. I cannot wait to play this game. I am not stopping. Maybe for the first time we can go live on probably Twitch or the other platform that's doing good with people playing games. But I'm excited. I cannot wait. Spider-Man 2. Oh my God, the trailers. Oh my God. Craven, Lizard, Venom, hopefully Green Goblin, because Oh my god!
Possibly not Doctor Strange. The other guy.
Doc Ock? Doc Ock has already happened.
No, green magic guy. Mysterio,
Oh,
possibly
Mysterio's.
Mysterio.
Mysterio, yeah, there's missions about Mysterio, stuff like that apparently. So maybe he could be like the Taskmaster of the Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2. Because Taskmaster was in the first one. There's little missions and a lot of crap. But we got a long week, bro. Ah! I can't wait for to play Spider-Man 2.
All right, I got my two trivia questions.
Oh my
The,
god.
put your hands up. All right, the first question: what is the big mysterious beast in that place where Kang is in Loki season one? The big fog. What is that fog called?
Honestly,
Who is he?
it's a pet. I know that. He's
Yep,
a pet of the guy. He's a
what's his
cloud.
name?
He's cloudy.
What's his name?
Is it not cloudy? Is it not cloudy with a chance of meatballs?
He's not cloudy.
uh, is it succulent? It's a no. I have no idea.
Oh
I
God.
know they mentioned on this episode. I know they talk about it, but I have no idea what's the name of the cloud.
They talked about Iron Man too. They talked about the Avengers movie. That was pretty cool.
Oh, can you believe that whole scene with like when they're eating the key lime thing? Oh, it's like my dad and my brother just like kicked me out. I'm just like just let my anger out. I was like, dude, what the fudge?
Yeah, I was just mad, so I took over a whole city. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
that was kind of pretty funny
All
and
right,
messed up.
I got an easier trivia question for
Okay,
you.
what was the answer?
This
What
is
was the
easy.
answer? What was the answer?
It's Elias.
Alive, alive.
All right, this is the easier trivia question.
What is it?
What is the place that you go to when you're pruned?
That's a name. That's a name. That's the name of it.
Yeah, there's a name for it. The
Uh,
place where all the other Lokis were.
it's not Prune Town.
No,
I thought it was
it's
just some
the something.
the garbage town. I gotta watch season 1 of Loki. Oh my god, this is
Oh,
all
you suck.
I suck.
It's the void. The
The
void.
void.
Where all time ceases to exist. I guess the TVA time ceases to exist too. But this is even more so. All right. That's our trivia. Messi sucks. Not good at trivia. And it's fine. So, yeah, that's basically our episode. Be excited for Marvel TV finally because we know most Marvel TV kind of sucks, except Loki. Loki's awesome.
Loki's awesome.
And we're getting multi-season shows. Hopefully not Echo. Now we're still going to get Echo. But maybe Echo will probably be multi-season now, apparently.
I don't think so because aren't they dropping all the episodes at the same time?
It can still be multi-season.
Could be.
Yeah. And Daredevil, hopefully, will probably be good. Expect delays. Don't be surprised. And Loki season 2, episode 2, pretty good. If you haven't seen it, I don't know how you made it all the way to the end, but I guess you did. And this is basically the same amount of time as you would have watched the episode.
Yeah.
But be excited for Loki episode 3. And that is our show. You can find me. I got yawn. One second. You can find me at Danny42 with
So
3 N's.
bad.
2 is taken on Instagram. My bad for yawning. It'd be like that. I have a yawning issue,
You do.
but it's cool. I yawn a lot. Anyways, it's not just when I'm on a podcast. All right, Messi, where can they find you?
They can find me on at Messi.17 underscore on Instagram. But like Danny said earlier, because we don't know if you actually stay until the very last minute. If you do, you're awesome. But if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But you can find us on Unqualified Heroes. We're on your major platforms. And also we are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts where you can listen to our full content. But on TikTok, Instagram, a little bit of Twitch. No, not Twitch. Twitter/X and Threads is where you see like clips and everything. That's where you can comment, share, and let us know what you actually thought about the episode. We do have questions on throughout the episode. Like earlier, we had a question. Make sure you actually answer it and let us know what you actually think the answer is.
All right, and that is our show.